Wait, we live?
Yeah, we're
I
live.
can't even get your word. It's okay. Just keep it in. All right. Hey, this is Jake. That's Brandon. That's Jonah. And you guys are watching the Two Pitch Floating podcast. And welcome to episode 1. Hey, that's as natural as intros get. Am I right, boys?
Yeah,
That was pretty
so
good. That was pretty
No one's
good.
perfect.
we just have to keep that up for the next, 300.
300. Oh, 300 episodes. I don't know if we'll get that far.
300 episodes of two-pitch floating pommel.
Yeah.
Pommel.
But yeah, I think on this episode, since it's the first episode, we're kind of just gonna recap like our ProQuest experiences. I know Jonah went to more than anyone here. How many did you go to, Jonah? Like 4?
I went to 5 ProQuests.
5.
5.
And I'm just Whiffer McWhifferton.
No,
Oh, dude, you know what it was? I forgot you went to Vegas.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, Vegas too.
So, do we want to just kind of go through our ProQuest experience?
I say we
Yeah.
let Jonah goes first, dude. 5 to.
So Jonah, why don't you start with California?
Okay, yeah, we can do most recent and work our way back. So, I went to San Diego with one locked-in spot at Tubby's TCG. I chose to play Reinar. That's pretty much my main dude, main character, specialist, whatever. I've dabbled in some other classes, but he's the one I always believe in, the most fun, the one I have the most fun playing. So, and you guys feel free to like interject at any time.
Yeah.
I round 1, I played John Zapata. He was on Icelander, and I think the match was going really well for me. I was playing a new Reinhardt deck that I hadn't played before. Lots of 6s, Tear Limb, Wild Ride those two are my only like non-blocks in the deck. And then just lots of 6s, good pressure, can block well. And I just drew a couple of dud hands when he had like an Insidious chill out, and he ended up like taking momentum towards the end and pulled it off with like Exact Arcane. So that was rough. Then I played another Icelander that wasn't as consistent with some like weird stuff in it, like in case. Like I've definitely seen it played before, but just wasn't it.
They were trying like something different, considering the meta's like so wide open.
Yeah, their own little like spin on it. Kind of like Alex does with the,
Uh-huh.
with his tech and everything. They just had like a few different cards, but still had like Fiendel's Fighting Spirit, Wounded Bull, E-Strike.
See, when you said that, I was thinking they like completely took the attacks out and just was like more focused on Arcane.
No, just a few different things here and there. So that matchup seemed pretty, and player knowledge, right? So like I had this huge turn of like Wild Ride, Claw, Swing Big. I broke Skullhorn to play it, and he didn't block any of it. And I intimidated 2 cards, but he didn't block any of it. And so like at Wild Ride, he goes no blocks. I go, all right, Claw, no blocks. I'm like, is he gonna kill me right now? Like I'm not within arcane range. Like what is he gonna do?
Jonah's shaking his boots. He's like,
Yeah.
"What's happening?"
Yeah, so I'm like, because I had Predatory Assault and Arsenal and Swing Big, and I could play either one, and I go, Swing Big, and he goes, good game. And I was like,
Did he have all non-block?
no, he just, the 2 cards he like had a good turn with, like blocking, were the ones I intimidated, and the other one was like Wounded Bull and something else, and he was like, I didn't want to block with those, and I was like, oh, so you were just like hoping to live, and you didn't. Yeah.
Damn. So he took a gamble and he lost.
Yeah.
Should have broke gambler's gloves. Unlucky.
Yeah, definitely. But I didn't roll scabs. It was just Skullhorn.
No, I meant like
Yeah.
him. He should have rolled gambler's gloves.
Oh yeah.
You should try it again.
Yeah, do it again.
Yeah.
And then I played Fi, also a new player, and that match confirmed that I'm just not gonna try to play Reinar in the meta where Fi is like so present, especially with like Icelander and Oldhim taking a hit. Basically, this man was very new to the game, had his own like deck, spice, yellow, like cards that you wouldn't normally see in a Fi deck. And the only reason I beat him is because he played Phoenix form with 3 cards in hand and no Snapdragons. And I go, huh, And right after he put it down, he goes, "Yeah, I misplayed." And I was like, "Ah, yeah, I know. I'm sorry."
That sucks.
And then I had a 26 damage turn off a triple blood rush, and then I
Damn.
reckless swing the following
Triple
that,
blood
so.
rush, he said.
Yeah.
How
So
does he do it?
just the luck of the cards, you know.
Always.
Fucking A.
So Fi, and then the mirror. I played a Reinar mirror. That felt really good. But anyway, so Reinar, Viserai, and who was the last one? Hold on, let me think for a second. Reinar, Fi, Viserai. Shit, doesn't matter. Anyway, I ended up the day 3-3, so definitely didn't make it. Was able to on the next day, Sunday, yesterday, get into Invasion Toys, and because of the meta, the matchups I had, I was like, all right, I'm gonna play Lexi this time. I went 3-1-1 with Lexi. I drew to an old him.
Oh,
Relatively new to the deck though. Like I feel like if I had more reps, I wouldn't have. I made a couple of misplays in that draw, and I bubbled and I got 9th. So.
Right?
hey.
9th's better than 10th.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I wasn't mad with the performance at all. The loss was to the mirror. It was a very close game. I feel like I did what I could, but it was a hard ice Lexi versus more like half and half on my end.
So you said Invasion Toys, right?
Yeah.
They had 7 Lexis at that event.
Yeah, dude, that place fucks, by the way.
Yeah.
They gave us pizza for lunch. They
Oh.
raffled off 2 boxes.
Oh.
Yeah, bro. Dude, they were just the most hospitable game store ever. You got a pack per win, and you got the little token. This place was I'm going back there next year.
Damn, they gave you pizza for lunch?
Is this SoCal?
Invasion Toys, San Diego. Yeah,
San
dude, that
Diego.
place was so dope.
It's because
Yeah,
they got
that's
money
sick.
there, dude.
Dude, they're
How
not a big
much-
store. They're literally you feel like you're going to a business meeting, and the building they have it's like little cubicles, like, you know what I mean, like
Kind of like
business
Gamers
format.
Guild?
Yes, just like Gamers Guild, correct. And they're right next to a church. So like I was in round 2 and the church was fucking getting it, bro. Like,
So you can
they
go
were
pray in between
slapping
rounds?
worship music. Yeah, you could. No, but super cool store. Definitely a shout out to them. They were awesome.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Can I ask you this? How much were your ProQuest entries in California?
Oh.
They were Tubby's was 30, and I honestly can't recall Invasion Toys off the top of my head. I wouldn't be surprised if it was 40, but it may have been 30 as well. I could check my bank statement. But...
Just curious because right now the community is kind of, I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, but the community is really kind of like torn between the prices of ProQuest and the support that stores have been giving out of lately.
I could
Have
see
you seen
that. I could
Have
see
you guys
that.
seen any of the news on Facebook or anything about that? So, and supposedly it was a really big issue down in Australia, is that stores were charging max price for their ProQuest,
Which is how much?
which here in the US I believe is 40 USD, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that is converted to Australian or their currency, but supposedly they're charging max price with no price support. With nothing at all.
That's 56.78 Australian dollars.
Yeah. So they were charging max price, no packs per win, no like extra giveaways or anything like that. It was literally just, oh, you won, here's your gold foil, here's your PTI. Like, that was it.
Yeah, stores are starting to do that more often, and it's kind of like I mean, you're just salting your own community, so.
Well, yeah, I agree. Which, prime example is, Sun Valley, for example. And we're kind of skipping ahead here, but Sun Valley is a local store here in Arizona that always does good by the community, in my opinion, at least. And their ProQuest was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
They charged $40, which, is a little more on the higher side with max price, but they give packs per win, and then they did a lot of store credit for top 8, right?
Yeah. It was 50 for 4th through 8th, and then it was like 100 for 3rd and 4th, and then 200 for first. I think first got 250.
I personally I don't recall, but all I know is that that store always does good, even
Yeah.
when they charge max price, which you know. So it's definitely interesting that some of these stores are charging max price and not giving back to their community, especially the people that come out there and support them and spend that $40 or 56 Australian dollars on a pro quest and get nothing in return, right?
Yeah, I do want to just add real quick.
Yeah.
I agree. Like sometimes it sucks, and we've definitely had some experiences here in AZ. But you also don't know what the store's going through and what it looks like
Oh, no, no, no.
when
Yeah,
we're
of
not
course
there
not.
for events. Agreed. Like a lot of stores can do better and should do better, but you don't know. Like somebody pointed out, I was watching a video the other day that right now all Flesh and Blood really has is the competitive community. So like a lot of people are just buying singles for their decks or the new deck that they're playing. They're not buying boxes. They're not supporting stores. I know some players still go to stores and will buy like a box or a case or whatever to support them. But just to keep that in mind,
Yeah, absolutely. There's always
it's
two
interesting, but
sides.
I'm not ragging on them. Yeah.
Yeah, there's always two sides to the equation, right? So, but yeah, I agree. There's always two sides, but I just feel like they could at least have given like some store credit or something in a way, right?
Yeah.
Agreed. That's yeah.
Especially if you're charging max price. Like if you want to keep all the money, I mean, why don't you drop the price down a little bit if you're gonna keep it all? Do we want to come back to hitting up Vegas and then move into the ProQuest we did here in Arizona?
Yes.
Yeah. So after or before San Diego, there was two in Arizona, which we'll talk about, and then one in Vegas. Vegas was a very fast meta. Not a lot of Guardians. Bunch of Briars, Phi, Dash, couple of Lexis too. Pretty wide open. Also not easy. There were some good players there. Ultimately, a lot of fun. I ran Lexi. I bubbled at that one as well, so I got ninth place. Lost to Alex and lost to another Lexi Mir. Maybe the Lexi Mir is tough for me, or I don't know it well enough yet. But I do remember being kind of greedy on the play right before I lost. But anyway, so moving past that, we'll go to Arizona PQs. Brandon, you haven't been talking much. You want to share your experience at SVG?
Yeah.
Yeah. SVG, I had a really good time. Unfortunately, so I was playing Bravo. There was, I think, 4 or 5 Guardians running around.
I think there was a little more than that.
Yeah, there's more than that.
There was at least 4 old hymns.
The war horn, bro. Somebody hit Valhalla and was like calling all Guardians.
Yeah.
I think there was the Guardians were the most represented. I know there was at least 4 old hymns and maybe 7 Bravos.
Yeah, I my first 2 rounds were against Dromeyes, and typically
Matchups.
it was a really good matchup for me because they were newer players, so they weren't building their board state. But it was cool because I got to talk to them afterwards, so they could crush the other Bravos. Hopefully, I didn't get to ask them later on, but I was like, trying to give them some tips. And then, of course, I played Matthew Vore on Oldhim round 3, the bane of my existence. He was playing Oldhim.
The other Vore brother.
No. For some reason, it's Matthew's the bane of my existence.
He's the other Vore brother, though.
Yeah.
I played a Kano guy real quick, Eugene, and we're talking. He's like, "Yeah, I'm friends with Alex. Blah blah blah. We play," and I was just like,
"No way."
He plays Kano, knows Alex, and Zane, one of our buddies in SoCal, he goes, "Yeah, the Vore brothers," and Eugene goes, "There's 2? There's more than one?"
Yeah, there's 2 of them to haunt your nightmares.
Yeah.
I'm lucky, Matt.
So this fucking guy, I don't know what it is. He gets in my head every game. I've tried playing the best I can. He puts me in the dirt. So 2-1, and then I play a double Bravo back-to-back mirror games. Second game, it was down to just swing hammer for 6, and we're just waiting for one of us to just have a whiff, and luckily he whiffed. I got that game. Third game, or the fifth game, I play this guy David, and I've never played against this guy. He's new. He's one of our buddies' friends, and he was playing the just an old school life game Bravo. Put me in the dirt.
Blessing of Deliverance and Sigil?
Sigils, remembrances, the blessings. He was playing tomes with Mage Master boots, and he just had a sick turn against me where I just lost all momentum. I make it into top 8, and I don't know honestly what happened to me in top 8, but I'm just gonna throw this out there. I accidentally cheated on stream. My sleeves are these Game of Thrones sleeves. I have Kraken, and they always face away from me. And I was like, I had like the nerves because I've never been on stream before, and I faced it towards me, and I drew up my hand, and I was like, why is this upside down? I'm freaking out. I pitched my cards, and then I was like, oh my god, my deck is upside down. And from there, I just kind of like, I played Matthew Vore again, old him, and it was a close game, but it just sucked because like the whole time I'm playing, I'm like, man, this feels so bad. And then I told him afterwards, and he was like, yeah, I cheated, so you would have had the win anyways. But yeah, that was fun. And then the store gave out. It felt so bad.
Plus Matthew's our friend. I think he would have knew that you weren't cheating intentionally.
Yeah, it was like not intentional, but then it's like I didn't know what to do in that situation. Do you just like rat on yourself? And or I don't know, like because it's not like I was gonna get to my pitch stack. Let's be real, guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, that did happen, and I just wanted to say if you're ever in that situation, probably just call a judge right off the rip. It's probably an auto L. I wish I did. I still lost regardless, right? But felt a little
dirt.
Yeah, I did get put in the dirt. Let's
At least you made it to top 8.
Yes, that was pretty cool. I got those sleeves that are not a cold foil hero, but I got sleeves. Yay. Let's
Yeah, no, hey, top 8's awesome, dude. Like, you know, I think it's undervalued for sure. Like, people get top 8 and they don't win, and then they're like, man, today sucked. But like, people don't always get to top 8, and all people want to do sometimes is top 8.
You know,
exactly.
If I ever go to a Flesh and Blood tournament, I just want a top 8.
That's me.
Yeah. Let's hear about your day at the ProQuest, Jake.
At Sun Valley?
Yeah.
There. Okay, so Sun Valley, round 1. I got fucking high rolled by Bravo. I'm talking open and turn, dominate, Spinal Crush. I said, I guess I take 9, smile. Sorry, block 3, take 6. Don't want to give up my armor. Next turn, dominate, crippling crush. I said, this is awesome. I'm playing dash. I don't draw any D-reacts within like the first 5 turns, and he just Spinal Crush, Crippling Crush, Spinal Crush into Terra Sunder. Terra Sunder to his 3rd Spinal Crush.
It was 10 dominate,
yeah, it was for 10 dominate, couldn't block it all. I think in hindsight I should have given up my armor a little bit earlier, but I didn't really have like a reason to because I didn't have like an item in hand or anything like that I really wanted to play. Anyways, getting pretty high rolled, feeling pretty demoralized, and then I think I was like 1 turn away from stabilizing and making a comeback. But then I just didn't have a D-react in Arsenal, and he just dominated an attack, and I was pretty dead after that.
Yeah.
So starting off round 1 with a loss, and then round 2 I play against Dromai. Hate that matchup. I just went monkey boost into him and barely pulled it off. I think I had like 5 cards left in my deck, and he had burned them all on the board, and I'm at 1 health. And I've already popped my Achilles accelerators, so no AB at all.
Yeah.
So barely won that matchup. And then I play Jimbo. He's playing Oldhim. And that day, I was misplaying so bad that I pretty much had the win, and I threw against him. I forget my mistake. I think it had something to do with Channel Lake Frigid or something like that. But anyways, through the game basically, and he won, but he was already 0-2, so he decided to give me the win. So I had a chance at making top 8, which was very nice of him. And then round 4, I play against another Oldhim. We both make misplays on each side, so the game runs a little long. And we end up coming to a draw, and I'm not asking like anyone to concede to me, but I kind of like we're going through it, like what's left in our decks and everything, and we're both at pretty low health, and I have momentum at the end of the game, and I kind of explained to him that like yeah, like if I had a couple more turns, I would have had the win, but we end up taking the draw. But I think if I had like five more minutes or so, I think I'm pretty certain I would have won that matchup, just because he's at 4 and I'm coming in with the pistol for 4 at least 3 times, plus any other boost attack I play, right?
Yeah,
So
that's a dub.
yeah, I mean eventually it would take some
Yep.
time, but eventually we would have gotten there. But yeah, take a draw, and then round 5 I play against a Bravo, and don't get high rolled, so that's good. And have all my D reacts when I have them, and I think they drew pretty bad. I think they had multiple nothing but blue hands. So I come out on top on that one. So I think I end the tournament 3-1-1, and I end up not getting top 8 because of my draw, unfortunately.
Yep. I think I took his spot, unfortunately. If he had gotten that win, he would have been 8th. I would have been 9th.
It is what it is. I misplayed really bad that day, and which sucks because I put quite a bit of time like playing before the ProQuest and practicing that dash deck and everything, and I was feeling really good. And then as soon as it comes ProQuest time, I kind of just misplay really bad.
Yeah.
Which sucks. Like it sucks when you kind of lose to yourself and you don't really lose to your opponent, right?
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
But
I feel like Talishar has such a huge problem with that too, with misplaying. It's like there's no undo button, and
the tournament, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's,
you gotta do.
go ahead.
Go ahead, Jonah.
Yeah, what I like to do, so for a good example, at the San Diego, the Invasion Toys, I had 2 players, like play. So one guy played a payday after not fulfilling a contract. Said he created 4 silver, and I go, you didn't fulfill a contract. He picks up payday, and swings, pitches that card, swings his little dagger, and
Yeah.
then Spider's Bite, and then Arsenal passes. And like I had half a mind to be like, yo, you already played it, but at the same time, one, I was winning the matchup, and 2, my friends kind of get on me about being too serious sometimes, so I like try to be more relaxed. And since I was winning, I didn't feel like kicking somebody while they're down. And then I also had another situation during the draw with the old him where they put their pitch cards under their deck without channeling Channel Lake, and then when it's already my turn and I'm declaring an action, they put a dice on Channel Lake and channel it. And I again I wanted to be like, you don't have that anymore, so sorry, remind me of the topic. I went too into my story.
Well, it was beating yourself by misplaying, right? But like,
It's losing to yourself by misplays, but at least I had like the conscious. Like this is the thing, is that I consider us pretty good players. I'm not saying we're like the best or anything, but
Correct, yeah.
in case anyone's wondering, Jonah Overhaul is indeed a calling champion.
and a top 8 calling player.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I do consider us pretty good, and we do have really good competition out here in Arizona. But it's just like when you misplay, and then afterwards the game, you can realize like, oh, I lost because I misplayed, not because my opponent beat me, right?
Yeah. Oh, so and thank you, Jacob, for getting me back on track. So what I was getting at was, I also made a couple of misplays, and I wouldn't ask. I'll definitely correct somebody like at a calling or something like that, but I will never ask somebody, "Hey, can I take that back?" Like,
Yep.
I'm going to learn from that mistake.
Yeah,
And
sorry, go ahead.
if you do that on Talishar can be a great tool. I know I shit talk it all the time because I hate it and it's trash. But if you treat Talishar like a tool where you don't have an undo button, then it can be a really good tool to help you get a lot of.
I agree. I personally think like I don't know how it is on the competitive CC that they do there, because how there's regular CC and then there's competitive CC on Talishar, right?
Same
Yeah.
thing.
Is it the same thing? So I think if they do competitive CC, there should be no undoing at all.
Correct.
Like unless you and your opponent can agree on it, right?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I agree.
But like
But
I go ahead.
The one difference I've noticed is people on competitive will typically you'll see a little bit better gameplay, and less like what I like to call limit testing or like
Seriousness
well
in their deck.
sometimes
In their deck.
yeah, correct. Sometimes people will play wonky stuff or like
Yeah.
for instance I'll go on there with Reinar and build some like crazy berserk deck, right? And I just want to see what the motherfucker can do. So I'll go into like the normal CC and just I'm not blocking, I'm drawing, I'm discarding, and I just want to see what happens with the deck.
Mhm.
So you see a little bit less of that in the CC, but you get people who are undoing and doing crazy shit in there sometimes, just a little bit less of it.
Especially
Yeah, I think-
Viscerice. Sonata Mist, undo.
Yeah, undo.
Oh my god, dude. I swear to God, that drives
which,
me mad.
dude, you're not wrong. Like, I've played against Reinars where they roll scabs, and they roll a 1, and they undo until they get another action point.
Winners
Yeah.
by pop tunic, pay for it, they undo. I go, huh? And they're like,
Yeah,
"Forgot
yeah,
you
yeah.
had
Like,
tunic." I'm
there's
like,
people...
it's on
Yeah.
the board.
Yeah, there's people out there that undo everything because because once they do it, they see a better line, right?
Yeah.
But I do agree. I think like competitive CC on Talishar should not have any undo unless you and your opponent can both agree on it in some way. Which I don't know how they would code that or work it into Talishar in their current state, but
It's
yeah,
just
but
like
usually
the dice roll ready thing. So
yeah.
if you hit no, it kicks you out of the game. If you hit yes, the game continues.
Yeah, but back to the conversation. I do think at like Pro Quest and whatnot, just because they are a little serious, because everyone's there to get a PTI, everyone's there to get the gold foil, right?
Yeah.
I think it's okay to kind of like if your opponent tries to take something back, like for example with the payday.
Yeah.
I think it's okay to be like, no, you already played it. Like that's resolved already. That goes to your graveyard. Like you can't change anything about that.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree. I was just it was Arachne and I was bullying him
Yeah.
on Lexi.
No, like I
so-
understand. Like everyone feels different about it, but like.
Yeah.
But yeah, like my opponent that we drew at Sun Valley accidentally drew 5 cards, and I could have been nice and be like, oh, just put one back on top of your deck, but nah, motherfucker, I called the judge and got the picked one to go to the bottom.
Always call a judge.
Yeah.
And get a round loss. No, I'm just kidding.
We'll talk about round
Yeah.
losses here in a minute, eh?
Yeah.
But
Jonah.
Yeah, I think that. Sorry, go ahead.
Jonah didn't get to talk about SVG on his Lexi, and he top 8'd.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so I actually worked. I just realized I worked backwards. So I top 8'd my first 2 pro quests, and then I bubbled 2 of them, and then I didn't get anywhere with one of them. So, but SPG, I went and I took Lexi. I committed to it before I got there, and
Yep.
then I heard the war horn from Valhalla, and all the Guardians showed up, and I shit my pants. I only had to play 1 Bravo. I dodged both the old hymns. I played a Phi, a Dromai. I beat both of them. I lost to Dory, which is actually a pretty difficult matchup for Icelander, for Lexi. I
Yeah.
drew a whiff hand at a pretty pivotal point, and Dory took it from there. And then in top 8, I lost to Alex on Icelander, which was also a very close game. And I think
That was close.
I think it's pretty, not pretty. Sorry, I think it's slightly favored for Lexi because of the amount of pressure you can apply.
Hmm.
But everybody knows Alex is a pretty good player. So
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like any deck that kind of can just go aggro into the wizards is pretty like 60-40 or whatever it is, right? So I
Yeah.
do agree with you. I think Lexi's in a pretty good spot. I think it does just kind of depend on the Icelander if they drew Hypothermia or if
Yeah.
they drew Blizzard to kind of slow you down, right, and buy time.
Well, the reason why Lexi's even better than the other aggro decks is like you create disruption for them too. Like they're getting
Yeah,
fucking
yeah, yeah, yeah.
frostbites.
yeah, and you're fast. Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Great point, Brandon.
Yeah.
I hate Lexi so much.
Shout out Denny in Singapore. That's where I picked the list up at, and it's been performing really well. I changed a couple of cards, but I got the template from him. So
Sweet.
Net deck Andy over here.
Hey,
Hey, you
sometimes.
gotta be a good
I'm
pilot too,
I'm
bro.
just
You
kidding.
gotta
I'm
be a good
kidding. I'm
pilot.
kidding.
Sometimes.
We all net deck. We all net deck, dude. We all net deck. Like I net decked my dash deck. I just changed a couple things about it as well. So
Okay,
yeah.
I've been waiting to talk about my personal least favorite ProQuest I've ever been to.
Is this the one we all attended?
Yep.
You
Okay.
talking about
Yep.
Tucson?
We
Yeah.
are indeed. I think it's time to talk about Tucson.
Unfortunately.
I personally, I want to go last
You want to go
because
last?
I feel like I was the most cheated out
You
of
were.
this situation.
You were.
In my personal opinion. So I personally want to go last.
I'll start just because it's short and sweet.
I was gonna say the same thing, you dirty bastard.
Well, sometimes that's the way it works, eh?
Sorry,
Way to
this
cook
channel is
crumbles.
rated mature. Apologies.
Well, first off, I chose to bring Viscerai because I was rolling hot on Talishar, right?
Fuck yeah, dude.
Of course.
I had the stats, and I was like, "Wow, this is the move. We're bringing
What were your
Viscerai."
stats on Talishar, just so everyone knows at home?
I went 10-0 first, and then I was finally, I think it was like 18-4. I finished with my fucking Viscerai deck, and I was like, okay,
18-4.
yeah, this. I
God
thought I
damn.
had the nuts. I thought
What
I
a
had the
god
nuts.
gamer, dude. What a god gamer.
Little did I know that you bring it to a tournament and you don't draw the way Talishar gods let you draw. You're just gonna lose. So I went 1-4. Drop at the last round. The round previous to my drop, I was just aggravated and I tilted. I shuffled my deck after a Tome of the Arc Knight, and apparently that was a round loss because you can't reverse the game state due to our judge.
Which I think we'll talk about that experience here in a bit.
Mm-hmm. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I always say, don't get tilted.
Oh, I
If
tilted.
you get tilted, as Jacob said earlier, one of the worst things is to beat yourself, and if you get upset, you beat yourself every time.
That's exactly what happened to me at Sun Valley. I started getting tilted and I was beating myself.
I beat myself off that tournament. It was rough.
Wait, whoa! Hey, whoa!
What? No,
You
I
can't say
did.
that, bro.
I did.
Chim chim.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You can't
I-
say that, dude.
I did. It was horrible.
Okay. So Jacob
I thought
said he'd
this.
go last.
I thought this podcast was rated PG.
Yeah.
Nah, dude, rated mature. So I took Reinar after. So I played Lexi in Phoenix, and then I took Reinar to Tucson. Was feeling pretty good. I ruined some people's days. I played really well.
I'm so
it was-
sorry.
It was
Listen,
the fucking dream, and I didn't even have that bad of a fucking line like to the top once I made it to top cut, and then this new guy, Will, really nice guy, shout out. He's sitting behind me as I'm playing Dromai. I turn around, I'm like, this match is fucking free, and then I proceed to punt the game. I fucking I didn't play smart. I didn't respect some of the things I should have. I sunk a tear limb with Crown like an idiot. So just a lot of misplays and overly confident and not respecting. So although I think Reinar is highly favored, you still have to like respect every player and every matchup and still play. Like every game is just as intense as the last. And I punted to him. And then I got the salty run back, and I fucking lost that too. So
He fucking put you in the dirt times two, huh?
yeah, 2x.
He put you in your casket and then buried you.
Yep, it felt really fucking good. It felt so good.
Which I know me and Matthew and Alex all gave you shit for after, but I honestly, dude, I didn't really watch your game, which I really wish I really wish I did. But I was watching Matthew and Alex's game, and then I was also watching Spencer's, and I don't know that guy's name who was playing the really turtle fatigue dash.
Oh, Joey.
Joey.
Joey. So I was watching Spencer and Joey's game, and oh my god, what a snooze fest.
Yeah. I try playing against that guy.
They literally sat
Ah.
there. Okay, I'm gonna block Crown of Seeds. Like, and even the dash. Okay, I block. Here's my springboard somersault from Arsenal. Like that game lasted. I think that was the longest game of Flesh and Blood in top 8 I've ever watched because the times are so are untimed.
Yeah.
That game I think almost lasted 2 hours.
Yeah, they both were playing
Because
Remembrance too.
yeah. Because Jonah, you and Austin played 2 games, correct?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I think their game lasted almost 2 hours. Because it was just swing hammer, okay, block, load all the pistol items, shoot you, and then it was just old him figuring out how to block, and then eventually, the game finally ended because the dash misplayed. But dude, that was insane to watch.
Yeah. So some of them aren't as fun as others. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
which if you got a strategy, you got a strategy. If it obviously that deck worked for him, made him in the top 8, so.
He just couldn't die. I mean,
Yep.
healing bombs, sigils, tome. What else did he play?
Did he have Toma Fendo in his deck too?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. And
Healing bomb.
Old him or dash?
the dash.
Oh.
And then what else did he have? What else can he gain life off of? Just those?
Oasis Respite.
Oasis
Yeah.
Respite, and then Remembrance. He would Remembrance in his healing bombs. That's what it was.
Oh yeah, because they're action cards.
Yep.
Ah, interesting.
That's so funny, actually.
A cosplaying dash. The dash was cosplaying as old him. Bog.
Oh,
Quite
that
literally.
is fog.
All right, Jake. Let's hear how you got cucked.
Okay. So round 1, I play against William, Jonah's protege on Reinar.
Yeah.
And I'm just racing. He didn't stick to the plan, Jonah. He
No,
didn't
he
stick to the
didn't.
plan. He got too greedy. He should have just
First thing he
fatigued
said to
me.
me. First thing he said to me.
I know. He should have just fatigued me, and he would have won. But I boosted that man hard. I had a sick ass high octane turn play Spark of Genius double item turn basically, and I was feeling really good. And then this man arc smashed and destroyed all of my items.
Oh.
And
Oh.
I was not feeling good after that.
No.
He
Then-
rolled a 6.
Yeah, he rolled a 6, and he said, "All right, those 2 items you just played plus the other item, they're gone." And I
Yeah.
said, "Oh, fuck me, I guess, huh?"
Boost. Boost.
Yeah, but then I just started boosting, and eventually we got there. And then round 2, I played against Bolton, which was honestly the closest game of this tournament.
Oh yeah.
Because I think by turn 3 or 4, he double Lumina, popped his courage, popped his arm piece, and got me down to 19. And he was at 41.
Yeah.
So he's at 41, I'm at 19. And I'm like, damn, that kind of sucks. I'm feeling pretty dead. And he has a lot of cards in Soul, right? But eventually, I whittle him down, I'm hanging on, and then towards the end, it comes to like 2-2 or something like that. And eventually we get there, which I was honestly surprised. I was not expecting to win that game, but fucking A, when I won that game, I was hyped. I was feeling good. My heart was beating, my chest was burning, dude. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
like the high when you come off like of what it feels like an unwinnable game, like feels so good, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like it just goes to show, like never give up, and always try your best no matter what.
Yeah.
100%. Couldn't have said it better, Jacob.
Yeah. And then round 3, I play against Alexander Vor, who's playing Pisslander.
Yeah. Pisslander.
Very close game, but Alexander ends up taking it. And then round 4, I play against a Dromai, and I've already stated earlier, but I hate that matchup, and that matchup was AIDS. I tried something a little different. I should have just boosted into him because his deck had very little block, and instead I tried doing the item game plan, which cost me the game in the end. So I got pretty destroyed. And then round 5, I played against a Dorinthia. And that matchup to me feels very natural because Jonah, you used to play Dorinthia a lot, and you taught me a lot about the matchup. And yeah, I mean honestly, like the reason why I do so well into Dorinthias is because of you and Jasper. So
great, dude. He still is.
yeah, but mainly, honestly, Jonah, because of you. Like, you taught me a lot when you first started playing Dorinthia. And, like, ever since then, like, it's always just stuck to me. And that matchup feels so natural to me. Like, I know how to block against her. Like,
So
the biggest
easy.
thing. Say that again.
I said it's so easy. As you're probably about to explain a little bit, but just once you understand how to block and the threats that are in the deck, it's really not that tough unless she just happens to have like you block for one situation, she has the other situation. That's the only time it's
Exactly.
bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
That happens to me every game I play against her. Just
Well,
saying.
personally, not to attack you or anything, but you don't know how to play against Dorinthia.
I don't.
That's like your kryptonite.
I don't.
Yeah, that is your kryptonite. If you see Brandon Legend at an event, bring Dorinthia.
Yeah, bring Dorinthia. Put him in the fucking dirt.
Free dubs. Watch, I'm gonna
But
be
yeah,
practicing every fucking day.
But the Dorinthia player, his name was Jeff. He played really, really well. Like, he was trying to get over, but I had I blocked really well. It's all about like when I play against Dorinthia, I feel like it's a gambling game. Like, it's kind of like poker, right? Like, you're both
Yes.
kind of sitting there and like kind of trying to bluff your opponent. Be like, oh, I can
Blade
get
for
over.
free.
Yeah, like Dawn Blade for 3. Am I gonna pump it to get over your blocks, or am I gonna give it, reactions or anything like that?
Two floating.
Yeah, it's just kind of like it's like playing poker in a way. You both are kind of playing against each other.
Nobody got that. The shout out to the podcast, Two Floating.
Two floating.
Oh, he did have Pummel in his deck, dude.
Yeah.
Now that you say that.
Ah, he had the one bubble.
Yeah, he had the one blue Pummel, and I heard from Matthew, because Matthew played him a couple rounds prior. So like I kind of had the insider knowledge that he had the one Pummel.
Pepe
And
laugh.
So he played CNC, and I looked him in his eyes. I said, "Are you gonna pummel me?" He goes, "Why would you say that?" And I'm like, "Well, I was just like, word gets around town, I heard from a
Yeah.
little birdie." And he goes, "Nah." He goes, "Why would you say that?" I'm like, "I don't know."
Oh fuck. Pablo.
Yeah, he had the fucking pummel.
Did you block 8?
No, I blocked 6, and I said, "If you got it, you got it. Let me get it." And he goes, "All right, no pummel." Oh no, I gave him crown, so I only blocked 2 and sunk it away. And then I was like, "Pummel me," and I told him, I said, "Pummel me, bitch, you won't." And he goes, "Nah." He goes, "I'll pass," and I'm like, "Yeah, you will."
Fuck yeah. That feels so bad. That is like one of the worst things in this game right
You
now.
should have just blocked 9, bro. He's got one pummel.
I
three
gave him crown, so I saved my arsenal. That was the correct play, okay? I had a 5-card
Did you
hand
win?
next turn. So, getting back to that, I did end up winning, and this is where my problem with the Tucson ProQuest starts to come in. They reported it as a draw.
Oh yeah.
So going back and looking at the math and getting everyone's records, I've come to the conclusion, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I would have made top 8 because I was 3-2 and I had the best tiebreakers, right?
Yeah.
According to the information I had. And so I would have made top 8, but unfortunately the person running the gem software marked it as a draw after I told them I won.
And
Go ahead.
not to mention, our first game in, you guys, the store had our judge deck check halfway in the middle of our first round.
So the judge, which is, no bad
No shade.
no shade, no bad intentions towards the judge. Like, I appreciate them, showing up and doing that for the community and judging. But they just did what the store told them to do. And then for some reason, the store told him to deck check halfway through a game. And what ended up happening was 30 minutes in, they deck check and they ended up shuffling both players' decks.
Yep.
Like, what? You can't go back to a game state after that. So basically, and this was the table right next to me, so I saw it all happen.
Who is also a
had to-
judge.
Yeah. They had to restart their game from scratch, which lost us an hour of the day, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, apparently it's I don't know if you guys heard that, but apparently it's cool it's cool in Magic to do that. So.
Really?
Yep. It's like common practice to like take a picture of what's in your hand, what's on the board, what's in your graveyard, and it doesn't really matter how your deck is because like pitch stacking, I guess, isn't as much of a thing. I maybe you know, speaking wrong or whatever. This is just what I heard at the event at that time. And so maybe the guy came from Magic, assumed it was the same kind of situation or whatever. But I do know afterwards he was like very sorry about it.
No,
Yeah, no,
yeah,
they apologized and everything, but um, again, it has nothing to do with I don't know his name, but it has nothing to do with whoever the judge was. This is all
correct.
in the store because at the end of the day, he's an employer or an employee of the
Yeah.
store. And so the store told him to do X, Y, which was check decks in the middle of the game, which they shouldn't have, and they ended up shuffling the deck, which caused us to lose an whole hour of the day, which at the end of could have made a very big outcome of those people's games, right?
Yeah,
To say
100%.
say player one is winning at the time, and then they restart, and now player two is winning after they restart, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, my point was is like because the store put in your information wrong, right? Is that the store just had no knowledge of flesh and blood,
Which
essentially.
Yeah, which is really surprising to me, honestly, because the Tucson up there has a pretty big crowd. So it was pretty surprising that they didn't really know how to do gem, didn't really know how to run. Like they acted like this was their first event,
Mm-hmm.
which it totally wasn't because they've had skirmishes in the past, they've had ProQuest in the past. So it's just kind of really shocking to me that it was handled this way. And
Yeah.
anyways, back to them putting my info wrong. After they couldn't figure out how to post standings, so they just said players 1 through 8 are top 8. They didn't post anyone's standings. Correct me if I'm wrong in remembering this, but they
No,
didn't
they.
No.
post standings. And then when they finally did, it said I had 2 wins. So then I go up to the front and I ask, "Hey, is this final standings or is this from last round?" And I get told this is from last round. And I go, "Oh, okay, because last round I had 2 wins. So sure, it makes sense, I guess. I guess I just didn't get in the top 8." And then, I go home, 2-hour drive, by the way, not bad, but I go home, I wake up in the morning, I decide to check my tournament standings, and it says I have a draw. And I'm just like, dude,
Yeah.
I feel cheated because I'm fairly certain I would have got top 8, which,
So was everyone else too. I mean, no
That
bias.
makes a lot of sense too, because I had a lower seating placement than Austin, the drama I played, and I feel like I should have had a higher seating placement. I can't remember why exactly at this moment, but I remember thinking that and then just being like, oh, whatever, I got fourth,
yeah.
you got fourth.
Well, it just kind of sucks because I should have fought, like, it's my own fault, but it's also the store's fault, right? Like, I should have fought harder to make sure that the standings were correct. But, like, when someone tells you, oh, I don't know how to post final standings, so this is from last round, meaning round 4 and not round 5.
No, I mean they're the store. You put your faith in the store.
Yeah, so like I almost wanted to call them and kind of like ask for my money back because not only did they blow my chance at top 8, but they blew my chance at a PTI and at a gold foil, right?
Yeah.
Which is what everyone's there for. But at the end of the day, I kind of just decided to drop it. I never called them or anything. Like there was no point of me being like angry for more than I already was.
Yeah, because it's done and
Did it-
over with.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of ruined my day when I found out they input the standings wrong or like my results wrong, but I didn't let it get to me after that.
Yeah, shit happens, and I think that just goes to show to like the little fab on your phone that you can check. It always shows the results like after the round's been accepted. So just goes to show like, hey, make sure you check that shit. I'm sure you did, and at the time maybe it wasn't showing or whatever.
Well,
but-
what's it called? My opponent did it on his phone, and he lost. Like I saw him do that, right? And then I went to the counter and just reported I won because I didn't have very good service there. And then
Yeah.
afterwards, I tried checking on my phone, but because they had already cut to top 8, I just kept getting a service error, so I couldn't check.
Oh yeah,
because-
I'm familiar with that actually. Yeah.
Yeah, because once they cut to top 8, like technically the tournament's like closed in a way, but not,
Yeah.
and only
Yeah.
top 8 players can see it.
Yes. Yep.
But yeah, I did try to check, but unfortunately, it like I said, I should have fought harder when I was talking to the lady up front, but it is what it is.
Hey,
Um,
sorry
yeah.
sorry to transition here, but we are
Yeah,
about
go
to
ahead.
hit 50 minutes. You guys want to talk
Oh,
about the bands?
Yeah. Yeah.
sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I didn't realize we were talking for so long already.
Yeah, easy. It's easy to do.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll just list what the bands are, and then whoever feels like they have what they want to say can start by saying some shit.
I
Yeah.
feel like a child. You guys keep talking. I have my headset on. I have to pee. It just has to happen. Keep going.
Okay.
All right. Of course. All right. Bye, Brandon.
Bye.
So awkward exit. Um, the bands were Belittle got banned. I can't recall, or was it suspended until Five's Living Legend, or was
No, so
Belittle banned?
I have it pulled up if you want me to go through it.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so Belittle is banned, Winter's Whale is banned, and then Amulet of Ice is suspended until Icelander becomes Living Legend, as well as Hypothermia.
Wow, so Whale and Belittle aren't tied to any heroes; they're just banned.
Yeah, they're just banned from the format. So do you want to just start from Belittle and go down?
Yeah, we'll wait till Brandon gets back,
He
so
can
he
still
can
hear
make the.
us, but
That's fucking crazy, bro. I thought Winter's Whale was uh just until old, like suspended, like the Icelander stuff. That's nuts. That was, sorry if I jump
no,
start,
no.
but
I
that
mean,
was so crazy.
Oh!
That was honestly like unnecessary to ban Winter's Whale. Like,
Agreed.
well, I don't know. I think I believe my initial here. Let's just start with Winter's Whale. So my initial response to Winter's Whale was like shocked, very surprised that they did that.
I know.
But after reading,
I'm
who
frozen.
did this
He
article?
been
What's
froze.
his name?
He freezes and unfreezes.
Me?
Jonah.
Lexi, you're frozen.
Um. Anyways, the article is by Brian.
Mm-hmm.
So after reading what Brian said about Winter's Whale, it kind of makes sense. Is because Winter's Whale is a one-handed weapon, which means he gets to use a shield, right? Either Ram's Head or Stalagmite.
Yeah.
And for it being a one-handed weapon, it has a very strong effect for just pitching an ice card, as well as being able to use two very powerful equipment alongside of it. Whereas like something like Rosetta Thorn, for example, is a two-handed weapon, very powerful weapon, very strong effect on it, but you don't get to use offhand equipment with it, right?
Yeah.
So I think after reading what Brian said in the post or in the banned and restricted list, kind of makes sense.
I don't know. I just felt like that was the essence of old him was Winter, like Frosty 4, right? And like
Yeah.
you've already hit him with Pulse. You've already hit him with fucking.
I think Old Him is the most, or is the character that's been affected by most bans.
Yeah, I mean he is good, right? He's super good. But like you're taking away his main, like his weapon, and I just feel like if we're gonna start seeing old hymns, and I don't know, I don't think it's gonna be as much as a problem or even like a game for us anymore as it's gonna be like, okay, I'll just take 4 from now on. It's more like, because that added something to the game. Definitely, like.
Yeah, but I think he I think he's still a pretty good hero even without Winter's Whale.
He's still good without him.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. So to add to what Brandon was saying, he didn't do much else.
Yeah.
Correct.
Like he blocked with 2 cards, maybe 3 or whatever. Probably just 2 crown, shield, something like that. Took a little bit of residual, if he didn't block with 3 cards, and then swung a Frosty Hammer at you, Arsenal passed. Sometimes he blocked with all of his cards, didn't swing the Frosty Hammer, Arsenal passed, and then it was just crown and shield or whatever. So like it just felt unnecessary because, like, yes, he was dominating, but I think the reason Ice dominates in general is one, the tilt factor, and two, willingness to solve the puzzle. Okay,
That's
so
it.
like,
The puzzle.
yeah, you already have a puzzle in front of you, which is how do I make the most damage out of this hand? How do I leak? How do I get over? What do they have in their hand? Blah blah blah. When you throw like ice disruption, old him D react, the ice react and stuff like that, it adds another layer to the puzzle, and people don't want to figure that out. They just fold to it and they go, oh yeah,
Mhm.
old him beat me, best step. Like, are you kidding me? Like, it's take some time, and again, that's like the competitive mind of me, like figure the puzzle out and beat it. So
That was just my main point. Like, I mean, now it's just a raw four. People are definitely just gonna eat it, but it's not gonna. There's no game on your side when Oldham is attacking after he's blocked anymore, because you're like, well, I don't have to worry about jack shit anymore. It's just 4 damage, and you just get to keep doing your turn if they're playing that fatigue Oldham, and there's just no thought process going on. And I'm sure Oldham decks are gonna change. Hopefully they do. Um, but I mean, what's working is working. And obviously now they're gonna have to change. But I just didn't think that was the solution. I don't know.
I definitely understand what you're saying, Jacob. It's very impressive, and it sucks, but
I just, like I said, I was pretty shocked when I read it first
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't see it as a problem.
Yeah.
But maybe it's because we're so, um, like used to the idea of this character can block us really well, and then return, on average 4 damage, and then give me a frostbite, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the idea of Oldhim, and that's what we're so used to. But I do think like the frostbite definitely, like not it didn't affect a lot of decks, but it affected some decks, right? Like the
Oh
really
yeah.
heavy like red line Phi decks, Dromine decks, like it affected them a lot, right? But I think because they banned both Belittle and Winter's Wail, I think the ban is pretty good because, in my opinion, Belittle should have been banned a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I think if they banned Belittle when they did, what, like a couple months ago, I think those decks could not beat the ice decks, Oldhim and Icelander. But I think since they're hitting both of them, I think that's fine.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. And like even moving away from Winter's Will into the hyperthermia and Amulet of Ice is like Icelander needed to be hit. Her
Yeah,
hero.
Oh, Brandon, your camera disappeared.
All of your cameras disappeared, eh?
hi,
I'll
We
fix.
lost Brandon.
Brandon's gone.
I'll
We
I'll
lost him.
I'll fix it. I'll fix it. But like,
I can't hear him either because I have him muted in Discord.
Oh
Nah, so
Lord.
do I.
Hello.
Anyways, who was talking? Him?
I was.
Yeah, he was talking, and it cut out.
Can you hear me,
We're
Jerry?
doing great. First podcast. Let's
Dude, all I'm saying is it's gonna get cooler. We'll have like a solid intro. There'll be effects and cool things looking.
Hey, or it might get worse. It might get worse.
It could get worse, but either way, you get 300 more episodes, bro. You get 300 more unwarranted, unsolicited episodes.
I think he's telling me to unmute him. My God. Hello?
Hello.
Unmute, you son of a
Where'd your
bitches.
camera go, guy?
I don't. You guys disappeared off the face of the earth. Apparently, I don't know.
No. Okay. So do we need to stop and
All
restart?
right, you're unmuted,
No.
man. What would you say?
We're good. We'll just continue. We only have 2 minutes left. Icelander.
We're back to muting.
Huh?
We're not in a time frame. We can take as much time as we want, but
Yeah, I mean, we could go like 65, 70,
Yeah,
75.
Okay.
Are you gonna get your
Lost.
camera back in here?
You guys left the link. That's the issue. You guys
No,
aren't
we're
my
still
guests
here.
anymore.
oh my God. All
We're-
right. Let me rejoin it.
Brandon,
You
I'm the
left
only
us,
one
dude.
in here now?
No, nobody's the links that I sent. You guys are no longer guests.
Look, I
Jacob's-
joined
Jacob
again,
and
and
me-
it's just me and
Jacob and me
Jonah.
are both in here. Yep. Do you want an invite? Me and Jacob will invite you.
Yeah, we'll invite you.
How
Yeah.
do we invite him, Jacob?
I genuinely don't see you guys anymore.
Okay. Anyways, I don't know. We'll just continue like this.
Brandon, figure it out.
Oh, here we go. He
Please.
sent us another one. Click.
Anyways,
Gosh.
amulet of ice
Oh,
and
look,
hypothermia.
now it's just me twice.
I genuinely don't know what happened. Generate new link. There we
Did
go.
your camera get unplugged?
No, I'm still in here. We're
It's
live,
twice
baby.
As well. This is the.
That's
the
another
greatest
link.
Technical difficulty.
Sorry, guys. 2-pitch floating over here.
Possible.
That was good. That was good.
See fucking Jonah twice, bro. And that's it. Anyways, okay. Let's just continue. Let's continue.
Mhm.
Let's continue. We'll get the kinks worked out as the podcast goes on. Brandon will
Yeah.
figure it out and not mess it
Yeah.
up next time.
I did nothing.
That's right. We're blaming it all on Brandon, right, Jonah?
Always. We're blaming it on
Always.
Brandon. Brandon,
Always.
your fucking fault.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Alright, so Brandon was talking about ice amulets, and I don't know what he was gonna say, but what I'll say is, so real quick, my splash on the bans, right? Winner's Wail was unnecessary. Belittle was, like should have been happen. Okay.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Ice amulet, I could see because of Insidious Chill, that combo is honestly disgusting and kind of like pulls games. So if you just draw really good, it's gross. Hypothermia feels unnecessary because it was a good way to shut a turn down and have a response. And it may have not been like tempo taking. So I definitely think 2 of 4 were on the marker. To Jacob's point that I didn't think about before, hitting both classes like aggro and disruption ice is kind of nice. You know, if you felt one was favored or whatever, like you can't say that now because they were both hit. So yeah, I don't know what to think anymore after Jacob's comment. I thought the ice couple, like I said, a couple of the ice ones were unnecessary. Now it makes a little bit more sense because I don't think 5 would have done, or any other aggro deck that uses Belittle would have done well at all into Icelander or Oldhim if they didn't touch any ice cards and they only touched Belittle.
Well, my thoughts on hypothermia is it was such an uninteractive card.
Yep, I agree.
Like
being said,
because Icelander could use it.
I don't know if Brandon's gonna make it back here today.
Oh, Jonah.
Oh my god.
Unmute him in Discord.
No.
He's here.
No, I'm not gonna unmute him.
Okay.
He's here.
I'm gonna have.
I unmuted him.
Okay. God damn it.
He
Just-
started talking. Jonah.
Just-
Oh, hey, Brandon, continue. You're unmuted.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So
The
listen.
greatest podcast ever.
Hypothermia. The only reason I think it should have been banned is because of Icelander, because she made it a very uninteractive card. There was no way to get around it because she could play it on your turn, whereas other decks had to play it
That's the
on
point,
their
though.
turn.
Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah.
that's
Well,
what's
Lexi-
that's what's uninteractive
shoot-
about it.
Lexi could shoot you with 3 arrows that
Correct.
don't have any on hits, just damage, and then play Hypothermia and Arsenal another card. So you took 12 damage. This is not realistic. I'm just giving you a number. You took
Yeah.
a bunch of damage,
Sure.
and then Lexi played Hypothermia, and
Mhm.
your turn is play a card, keep 3, pass.
No.
Well,
No.
Can I just butt in real fast?
Yeah, butt in.
So, I think it's interesting that we all have different opinions on the bans. So, like, Brandon's point of view about hypothermia is that it's uninteractable and that Icelander can play it on your turn, right?
That's her ability.
Yeah, as her ability. My problem with hypothermia is that it didn't cost anything. There was no downside to putting it in your arsenal. The fact that my problem with hypothermia is
It
that
didn't
it
deal
costed.
damage.
Yeah. Don't
And it
get me
doesn't
wrong.
do anything to the decks that go tall against her.
No. I'm not saying that because you probably sideboarded out against those decks. It's really only for the aggro decks, right? But the fact that it costs 0 was the biggest issue for me personally. I think
Mhm.
it should have at least costed 1,
Yes.
just because it does require them to at least pitch a card, play Hypothermia, and then they still have the 2-pitch floating to swing the Waning Moon, which
So-
makes sense to me personally.
What I'm asking is, if Icelander got to keep Hypothermia, because that card honestly by itself is not broken, and she lost Ice Amulet, would you still be saying that?
Yeah.
So it's just Insidious Chill on the board, costs a whole card to play. So she's got 3 cards left, and you're coming in super wide, and all that did was give you a Frostbite. And then at some point, which means you leaked a bunch, probably like 6 damage.
But there-
and you maybe...
There are so many decks that require gaining Go Again to make those decks what they are. And for her to be able to play it on your turn, and you can't play around it, it is just what it is. You can't pay. You can't do anything about it. Your turn is just shut down. Is pretty whack. Like, there's Briar, there's Visceri, there's fucking
Dash.
Dash. All those decks, like, had she played it on her turn, it would have been a totally different thing, because then you could change the way you play your turn and work around that puzzle. But once she plays it on your turn and you've already done, like, say Dash boosts, gives her card Go Again, she's like, perfect, this is exactly what I wanted. I'm going to play this. Your turn is over.
She can play High Octane. So my point is...
Yeah, true.
My point is, Hypothermia itself was not broken. You had the option to go tall. Fi has cards that pump, Rise from the Ashes. Rhinar can go tall. Like, everybody can get, like, plus damage on a single attack. And so maybe your hand didn't have it, and that kind of sucked. But my point is, Hypothermia wasn't broken. It was a cool tool. But...
Yo, Jonah,
Yeah, what's up?
you want a slice of Bianco?
Oh, sure, yeah.
I think what makes
Just
it
went-
broken
we
is
went to
what
one
Jacob
that's
was
in a
saying,
different
that
part
it's
of Phoenix, and
0.
They have like entrees and pastas, Rosa.
Thank
Yeah, for sure.
you.
And we got their chicken cacciatore.
I muted him real quick. Anyways, we'll move on real quick.
I don't know. I think, like I said, I think Belittle should have been banned a long time ago. Winter's Wail is a bit of a shock to me, personally. Amulet of Ice, I personally didn't really see it as an issue.
Yeah.
I saw it as an annoyance, like another tool for Icelander to use, and like, Ice Lexi and Oldhim to use to disrupt you.
Yeah.
But after reading the article they posted, it just makes... I understand why they did what they did, and it does make sense to me, at least. Because, I mean, it's a very well-written article about the bans.
It is. They
Yeah,
they
go
went
ahead.
they went into really good detail on like what their thought process is. It's just surprising to me that these are their only answers to the meta right now. Icelander, it makes sense. Belittle,
Well, it does make sense, because Icelander and Oldhim were dominating the meta.
yeah.
Right? More Oldhim than Icelander, but both of those heroes were very dominant of the meta, even though we were in a quote-unquote open meta. If you go back and look at, fabtcg.com and look at the meta game breakdowns, Oldhim has the highest percentage of ProQuest wins.
Hot take.
Yeah, go for it. I love hot takes.
Hot take. Alright, so similarly to the Prism meta, Oldhim and Icelander both have a less than half, they're not as good into Rhinar as Rhinar is into them. Unfortunately, and this, I have a point later, okay? This isn't all about Rhinar.
Everything's about Rhinar. It's like Shrek.
No. So, both of them Rhinar is good into both of those heroes. Unfortunately, most Rhinars like to roll fucking dice, okay? And that's just, maybe that's the way they're supposed to be played, and I'm a jackass for not wanting to roll dice, but Rhinar is great into both of those heroes. I think LSS is catering to the community in this sense, with the bans, by being like, oh, if these two decks are sweeping the floor, people don't want to figure out the puzzle, or it's too difficult, or in some cases unwinnable.
Yeah.
Let's make it a little bit easier for them by banning these cards. Now, as I was saying, if people would play Reinhardt consistently, like in the Prism meta, Prism wouldn't even be LL'd right now. It wasn't a free win, but it was a hell of a lot easier. And instead, people were just mega fucking greedy. Like in Jersey, for example, I was on like I was like 4-1, I think, at one point, and could have made top 8, and I got really greedy against Prism, and I lost it, and I did make top 8. So I think they're just catering to what they're seeing, like a result of the community and what they play and how they're playing, versus the heroes actually being broken. Because I think Ice Amulet was ridiculous with Insidious Chill, but ultimately, I don't think any of it was too broken. I think they're just catering to the community, which is very cool. I will say that.
Yeah.
On that last note, just like as a little send off, I don't know about you guys, but I am incredibly happy they didn't ban Crown of Seeds. I think that was kind of Oldham's whole gimmick, and you taking away Crown of Seeds would have really, really hurt Oldham. And he would have probably not been nearly as viable at all.
To add on to that, I think Crown of Seeds is one of, if not the most powerful equipment in the game. And I think, I personally, I don't know. I think maybe they should reevaluate and kind of look at it, because it filters a card, makes your pitch stack 50% more faster than every other deck.
It does.
Prevents 1 damage.
And
Go ahead.
like, I for example, like one of the things they could have done, right, is just errated Crown of Seeds and made it where you can only pitch an Earth card towards it. But for them to, like, for example, with Bloodsheath Skeleton, I'm surprised they're not errating cards to a certain extent where they just don't, like, they need more interaction for them to work.
Well, they can't just errata every card, right?
They can't, and they clearly say that they're going to be more diligent in the future.
Well, I mean, going back to the article, if you read the article, they literally say basically we know Crown of Seeds is powerful, but we're not going to ban it because it's a legendary.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, because people buy it. They spent a lot of money on that card.
Yeah, they either spent a lot of money to buy the card, or B, it was their first legendary and it holds, value towards whoever opened it. But towards the competitive side, that's the strong. Like, if Dash could run Crown of Seeds, I absolutely would.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it, honestly.
Like, I would put, if Crown of Seeds was just a generic, I would be putting that in every single deck I owned.
All I know is our next episode, I really hope that we end up, like, taking a deep dive into Outriders just on our thoughts and predictions, because I'm really curious to see what you guys have to, like, say and actually think about these new heroes and, like, the potential and the fact that the only relevant information we have right now is stealth, right? But I really do think
fertility or
fertility token.
frailty.
Agility. Yeah.
-1 intellect. I'm calling it right now. -1 intellect.
My
For one turn.
I said that on the Facebook page, and I got flamed out my ass, bro.
Because you should, because you both are fucking bozos. End the episode. This is over. Nope, we're talking about Outriders next episode. No, don't fucking Rick and Morty me, guy.
Thanks for joining us for our first episode, guys.
Yeah,